On today's episode of Phinside The NFL, the Miami Dolphins continue to be struck with the injury bug as they have now lost Jaelan Phillips for the entire season. We will talk about that, its impact, the ramifications, and so much more. Plus, have neurologists advised the Miami Dolphins to have a legitimate contingency plan in place at quarterback. We will talk about that. Also, we'll break down a little film from Monday night's 31-12 loss to the Titans, and we'll talk about if it is time to panic yet or not for the Miami Dolphins. So, do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. This episode is powered by BetUS, and let's get into it.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field down the near side, man open. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's going to open a touchdown again.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Y'all killing me in the chat with this adversity stuff. We're going to get into it today, but the season continues to not get any better for the Miami Dolphins here. We'll get into it in a moment here, but it's just, at this point, what can you say? You can only do, all you can do is sit back, shake your head, and laugh at literally the luck this team is having. We've dealt with injuries over the last couple years, and usually they stack up throughout the season. But I mean, let's do some facts here. Okay, Tua has been lost to a concussion. Armstead and Kendall Fuller have missed time to a concussion. Now Jaelan Phillips is out for the season with a knee injury. I mean, you're going to have Bradley Chubb coming back. He's not going to be the same. I mean, this is just going to, and then let's go even further than that. All right. OBJ, Malik Washington, their debuts were held off because they had injuries in the preseason. I mean, the wide receiver 3 position has been in flux. Raheem Mostert's been hurt. One of your top 3 running backs has been out. Your top quarterback's been out. You've lost your left tackle. It's just one thing after another with this team. It really is turning into that. And, what can you say right now at this point? This is just, this is becoming a running joke. Now, one other thing we're going to talk about today is the trade rumors regarding Jaelan Phillips regarding Tyreek Hill, because, there's been talk about KC, all that kind of jazz. We will dive into that conversation in a little bit here. So we got a lot to go over right now. We're going to go over a new article from Barry Jackson talking about what neurologists would advise the Miami Dolphins to do with their quarterback situation and so much more. And Jimmy's got it down pat. Right now, we are at the stage of when it rains, it pours, and it is, it is a hurricane right now. It is an absolute hurricane in Miami right now, and we're not talking about Helen or Helene or whatever her name is, the hurricane was. So Tough one. So let's start to get into this. But before we do, like I said, this episode, it is powered by BetUS. They got all the games on the Week 5 slate up on their website, ready for you to put some money down on. Right now, if you use code YouTube150, that's YouTube150, you will get 150% deposit match on your first three deposits up to $2,000. All right. So there are some interesting games. The Dolphins, they've opened up as underdogs to the New England Patriots. That Bills-Houston game, that's an interesting one for sure. New Orleans and Kansas City. There are some interesting games on the schedule. Go over to BetUS. Go use code YouTube150. Get your first three deposits matched by 150% up to $2,000. Some of the quickest payouts in the industry. And you know what? You might as well make some money while the Miami Dolphins got us singing the blues right now. Just remember to gamble responsibly. All right, so let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time. Here is where we are at. During the game this is a post from Jaelan Phillips' Instagram. So this is straight from Jaelan Phillips himself, everyone. During the game on Monday, I suffered a season-ending knee injury that will require reconstructive surgery. I believe that our lives are defined by how we handle adversity. Oh, there's that word again. In these moments of uncertainty, defeat, and sorrow, it is natural to question your purpose and wonder what is the meaning of this pain. I know that my purpose is to inspire people to never give up, no matter how many times you get knocked down. I am a living testimony of the power of resilience and faith, and I feel strength in knowing that my God is greater than any obstacle. Through him, I will persevere. There is nothing in life that you can't overcome as long as you don't quit. The mission is still the mission. I have unfinished business to take care of, and I will come out of this trial victorious. Thank you all for your continued love and support. Fins up. So, Jaelan Phillips, who was dealing with a Achilles injury that ended his season last year, now is dealing with a knee injury. And, the injuries keep piling up for him. I mean, what else can you really say at this point? The injuries are piling up for Jaelan Phillips and his career. You go all the way back to UCLA when they tried to force him to medically retire. I mean, it's just not ideal right now with where everything is headed and everything is going. Last year alone, he dealt with 3 injuries, right? He had an abdominal strain that missed 2 games. He missed his first career game because of a lower back sprain at the beginning of the season. Then in November, he had his Achilles tear, which was a non-contact injury. Now, this was a contact injury. If you want to know how this happened, I mean, I'll be showing some film in a bit here, and I actually have the play where this all happened on film. This is a Jordan Poyer. This was because of Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer hit him right in the knee. It was a play where Jordan Poyer moved up on run support. They still ran it down to the 2, but it got called back on a Lloyd Cushenberry hold. So the play got negated, but you can see where the injury happens to Jaelan Phillips. Now, I don't know who advised him to go back into the game, because Jaelan Phillips went back into the game after the knee injury, played a couple of snaps, and then basically dipped out. And now you're in a position here where the fact of the matter is, I mean, Jaelan Phillips now, how many times is he going to get injured? How many times is Jaelan Phillips going to be dealing with serious? This is 2 back-to-back season-ending injuries for Jaelan Phillips. That's what we're dealing with right now. And what's bad about this, what makes this even worse is, yeah, we're getting pressure right now, but the edges aren't even getting home. You got edges who aren't even getting home, and now we got to rely on more Chop Robinson, who has been a liability against the run. I mean, right now, you are dealing with so many issues from the edge that, you know, what are you going to, Quentin Bell? And here's another thing. When Bradley Chubb comes back, who's now eligible to come off PUP, but isn't quite yet, no one expects Bradley Chubb to be at 110% because of his injury from last year, his ACL tear. You know, so everyone went from saying, well, they might have to make a move at quarterback to they might have to make a move at edge now. Like, do they need to make a legitimate move at edge right now? I mean, you know, we got people saying in the chat, on Twitter, texting me that this team is cursed. Like, and what can you say at this point? I mean, it's just never ending right now. Like, it feels like we can, you know, talk about continuously getting kicked while you're down. You know, never mind being kicked while we're down. It feels like, you know, this season's been put in a 6-foot grave, and right now life is just taking a whiz on the grave. And now what this does for this team, you know, what this makes worse is you got to now rely on Quentin Bell, who's an underachieving veteran. You got to rely on Chop Robinson, who's still learning how to develop a proper pass rush game plan. Like now you're getting back. Now the pass rush is getting nullified. It's literally just nonstop. It's one thing after another with this team right now. Like, never mind bad luck. This team right now has zero luck. They really do. And, you know, I mean, this means obviously Ogba will continue to get more snaps, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, hey, maybe we'll see Muhammad Kamara finally debut. This will open up the window for Muhammad Kamara to finally see some legitimate reps and try to make an impact. I mean, here's hoping that Muhammad Kamara becomes an absolute revelation. And I mean, you know, when I break down the film in a little bit here, you'll see the exact injury. Everyone's asking what happened to Phillips. I explained it once, I'll explain it again. On that play when Lloyd Cushenberry took a hold and they ran it down to our 2-yard line and it was negated, Poyer came up in run support, whiffed on the tackle, and ended up hitting Jaelan Phillips dead on right in the knee. You can even see Jaelan Phillips in the All-22 hold his knee after he takes the hit. Then they tried to bring him back into the game for a couple snaps. Wasn't good to go, and they took him out of there. And now, right now, you are left with Emmanuel Ogba, Quentin Bell, Chop Robinson, and Muhammad Kamara as basically your pass rush options off the edge. And again, when Chubb comes back, what are you really expecting from Chubb? Ask yourself that. What are you really expecting for Chubb? Right? Like, Bradley Chubb is coming off an injury where guys aren't right for like a year and a half, 2 years after that injury. ACL tears, yeah, guys are coming back in shorter time than they were a couple years ago, but they're not playing at 100% level. You're not. So you can't really depend on Bradley Chubb to make up for a lot of Jaelan Phillips's, pass rush. And even still, it's not like Jaelan Phillips was continuously getting home. We're having problems right now getting home from the edge. Like, that's a fact. I don't know what else to say. And this is tough, man. Because here's the other thing that this impacts. What do you do with Jaelan Phillips and when his 5th year coming up? What do you do? Especially after what you've learned from the Tua injury. In terms of the Tua injury looks like a bad investment right now because he's getting hurt. So and everyone was complaining over the last couple of days. This is what's funny about this. Everyone was complaining over the last couple of days that, Barton should have been the pick or whoever should have been the pick. First of all, I kept telling y'all, this guy's not taking interior offensive lineman in the first round, so get over it with the hindsight. Number 2 is, I guess that Chop Robinson pick is looking a little bit better now. In terms of, yeah, the production isn't where we want it to be, but guess what? At least you have another option. And again, like Tua, the injury concerns with Tua coming out were what? The posterior wall fracture and the hip injury would hold him back. Coming out with Jaelan Phillips, we were more worried about what? The head injuries and everything that happened at UCLA. And now it's not the hip for Tua. It's concussions, which he also suffered one during that hip injury, but everyone was stuck on the hip injury. All right. And now Jaelan Phillips, again, we were worried about the concussions that he suffered and why he was forced to medically retire, right? Because he was hit from by a car riding a moped. We were worried about the concussions and stuff being, and now it's turned into totally different lower body injuries for Jaelan Phillips are what are starting to stack up. And this is what's not good. Knee injuries and Achilles injuries. One of the things that makes Jaelan Phillips so great is his explosiveness. When you start stacking up the lower extremity issues, what do you start losing? Your explosiveness. That's why we are getting into a very wishy-washy area. And what do? You're going to have a 5th-year option decision coming up at the end of the year. Do you think they even activate the 5th-year option? I know they picked up the 5th-year option on April 29th. Can you revoke it? Because what are you going to do? They're going to pick up, they're going to be on the hook for that 5th-year option. And you better find I don't even think they can be revoked. So you're going to have a guy coming back. You're going to have a guy coming back. You can't even revoke the 5th-year option. It's guaranteed. It's like $13 million. So now you're locked in on the 5th year. And guess what? He's probably not going to be back till what? At least at least a year from now. So it's going to be another offseason of Jaelan Phillips rehabbing, maybe coming back near the end of training camp, the end of the preseason, or right around the start of the season. So we're going to have to wait for him in his 5th year to get back into his rhythm. I mean, and then if there's any setbacks, you might not see him till mid-season, or the whole 5th year option might be a wash. And no one was sitting back saying, well, you shouldn't give Phillips his 5th year option because of injuries. And now I guarantee everyone will be saying, wow, I wish we could get out of it. So once again, luck has not gone our way. You got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. And right now the Miami Dolphins are bad. You know, that's just literally where we're at right now. It's tough. It is tough to be a Miami Dolphin fan right now. Holy jeez. It is tough. You know, like I said, we're not just getting kicked while we're down. You know, we're getting thrown 6 feet into the ground in a casket, and life is just, the football gods and life are just taking a leak on us while we're 6 feet in. And, you know, now the question has to be asked. Did putting him back in there after he got hurt, did that make the situation worse? I mean, you know, this was supposed to be a playoff run season, and it's turned into nothing less than setback season. Like, this is just setback after setback for the Miami Dolphins. So, that's the latest on Jaelan Phillips. He's out. Now, Tyreek Hill, today, he was asked about the Kansas City Chiefs trade rumors. We are going to get into all of that, that's for sure. But before we do, you know, just a little bit more on this. It's a partial tear of a knee ligament. That's what he was right now. So, you know, the Dolphins have already exercised his 5th year option. There's no way to get out of it, and he is due to make $13.2 million next season. And you might not even see him for most of the season. But hey, at least Odell Beckham Jr. practiced today for the Miami Dolphins, huh? At least OBJ was out there in practice. Man, absolutely brutal. Absolutely 110% brutal. So, Tyreek was asked about the trade rumors specifically to Kansas City, and this is what Tyreek Hill said regarding the trade rumors to Kansas City.
Really? Yes, and they're putting 2 and 2 together. What would you say about any speculation that maybe KC is interested in you?
You know what, man? I'm just focused on right here and right now. Like, we got a beautiful team here, and I want to be a part of it. You know, we got a great situation here. My family loves it. I enjoy it. The weather's great. The fans are great. So we got a beautiful situation here, man. Obviously, you know, my parents always taught me, you know, control the controllables, and I only can control so much. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we all know the NFL is a business. Whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? So moving forward, I would love to be here. I love being here. You know, I love the guys. I love my locker mate, Javon Holland. He's a maniac. He's the guy. You know what I'm saying? He brings me nice snacks sometimes. You know, so.
What did you see?
So, Tyreek Hill makes it clear that he wants to stay in Miami. I don't think he's getting traded, and get prepared for Davante Adams coming to the Jets, everyone, because it looks like there's a strong chance he's going to be a Jet or a Saint. But Reek, look, here's the thing, right? Reek straight up says he wants to stay in Miami. What he also says is the NFL, the business is a business. So he straight up says, yeah, I want to stay in Miami. This is a beautiful team here, but the business is the NFL is a business, and I understand that. Now, I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs are trading for Tyreek Hill. I think the problem with that is going to be Tyreek Hill's cap hit. I think that is going to be the main sticking point. And, if you're trading a guy like Tyreek, I mean, the Dolphins aren't going to eat a bunch of money for you just to get better and make a run at the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs right now have about $4.7 million, in cap space. Tyreek Hill has a cap number this year of $31 million. I don't even see how that works. And this is the other thing, everyone talking about trade. Yeah, you save $19.25 million, but you also eat $12.728 million. So, there's a big cap number you're eating. And right now, are Kansas City financially in a spot to even try and take on this contract? I highly doubt it. And Casey's already come out and said that the word has already came out that Casey's not in on Davante Adams. Now, I get it. They would probably be more inclined to Tyreek Hill because his familiarity with the scheme of Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, et cetera, et cetera. But I think that ship has sailed. Yeah, I agree. Davante Adams, the perfect scenario for him is Washington, but it sounds like he's going to be a Jet, and it sounds like the Saints are right in on trying to make a deal right now. So, sticking on the injury front, check this one out. From the Miami Herald and Barry Jackson. Do the Dolphins need 2 starting caliber quarterbacks in years ahead? Doctors weigh in 2025 options. Do the Dolphins essentially need 2 starting caliber quarterbacks on the roster to protect themselves as long as Tua Tagovailoa is the team's top QB? That appears to be the case based on feedback from multiple brain trauma experts who say that any additional concussion sustained by Tagovailoa very likely will result in extended absences. Those experts include 30-year neurosurgeon Lloyd Zucker, who works at the Brain and Spine Center of South Florida and formerly held executive neurosurgery posts at Delray Medical Center and Good Samaritan Hospital in West Palm Beach. Asked if he could envision any scenario where Tagovailoa could return to play quickly after concussion next season or beyond, Zucker said, "I would discourage it because if the cause does not seem to be outwardly that major, not roughing the passer or thrown to the ground, I would look at past history and give it extended time. And if the hit is especially violent and causes a concussion," Zucker agreed that the absence likely would not only be brief in that case, either because we are supposed to err on the side of protecting the patient. The more severe the impact, the more likely his rest period would be longer. Every concussion adds to the potential of having future problems. Zucker's colleague, Brain and Spine Center of South Florida managing partner and neurologist Evan Packer, told the Miami Herald recently that an extended absence would follow any future Tagovailoa concussions, and the length of time would be greater and greater. All of this means the Dolphins this offseason must either trade for an established backup, use a high draft pick on a quarterback and hope he's ready immediately if needed, or spend decent money on one of the best options in 2025, the free agent class that will include Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Cooper Rush, Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, Joe Flacco, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mason Rudolph, Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Jarrett Stidham. Russell Wilson, Winston, and Jones could be the best options for Miami from that group, figuring Donald would get a starting opportunity elsewhere. What's clear is this. The Dolphins can never again leave themselves in the position that they're in this season, relying on unproven Skylar Thompson and middling veterans Tyler Huntley and Tim Boyle to save them if Tagovailoa is injured. With any future concussions likely sidelining Tagovailoa for a while, the Dolphins must accept that they will likely need a higher cap allocation for backup quarterback while navigating a salary cap crunch in future years. Miami has just $4 million in cap space for 2025. Thompson, who entered the season as the Dolphins' number 2 quarterback, is making $985,000. As perspective, Jacoby Brissett, considered one of the NFL's better backups and a former Dolphin, is earning $8 million on a 1-year deal for New England. He began the season as a starter ahead of number 3 pick Drake May, and Brissett will start Sunday against the Dolphins. Darnold, who has led the Vikings to a 4-0 start, signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with Minnesota this past offseason, including $8.75 million guaranteed. Flacco, who has now thrown at least 2 touchdown passes in 6 consecutive games, is playing for the Colts on a 1-year deal worth $8.7 million with $4.5 million guaranteed. The Jets this past offseason signed Tyrod Taylor to a 2-year, $12 million deal with $8.5 million guaranteed. Gardner Minshew likely would have been too expensive. The Raiders this past March signed him to a 2-year, $25 million deal that includes $15 million guaranteed. But Dalton is in the second year of a 2-year, $11 million deal with Carolina. That's very affordable. And so are several others with better credentials than Thompson, Huntley, and Boyle. Garoppolo is earning $3.2 million on a 1-year deal with the Rams. Cleveland gave Winston a 1-year deal with $4 million in base salary and another $4.7 million in incentives. The Chiefs are paying Wentz $3.3 million on a 1-year deal with $2.2 million guaranteed. Buffalo is paying Mitch Trubisky just $1.2 million. The 49ers give Joshua Dobbs a 1-year, fully guaranteed $2.25 million contract plus a $750,000 incentive for playing time. Russell Wilson, who's been injured, signed a 1-year, $1.2 million deal with Pittsburgh with the expectation of starting. Wilson is collecting $38 million from the Broncos this year. Trades remain another option. Pittsburgh acquired Fields from Chicago for a conditional 6th-round pick. Jacksonville acquired 2025 free agent Mac Jones from New England for a 6th-round pick as well in 2024. Philadelphia acquired Pittsburgh's Kenny Pickett, the number 20 overall pick, 2 years ago, along with a 4th-round pick in exchange for a 2024 3rd-round pick and a pair of 2025 7th-round picks. Washington traded former starter Sam Howell along with a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft to Seattle in exchange for a 3rd-rounder and a 2024 5th-rounder. The Dolphins' other option is drafting quarterback in the first 3 rounds with the hope that he become a capable fill-in starter quickly if necessary. Whatever path the Dolphins choose next spring, they learned a painful lesson this season. They cannot simply assume that Tua Tagovailoa will be healthy and they can get by at backup quarterback. I mean, you know, I've been talking about it. They have to have a better contingency in place. You didn't fix the O-line, you know, and you needed to do one of 2 things or both things. You needed to square up the O-line and then get a legitimate backup and or get a legitimate backup quarterback. They didn't do the bare minimum. They didn't even do one of those. And here we are now. Literally, here we are now. Sitting in this position, twiddling our thumbs. Praying Tua comes back and doesn't get hurt and salvages the season for us. That's literally where we are at right now. It's tough, man. It is tough to be a Dolphin fan. Around the Horn had a segment where they were talking about the Dolphin season, and look what was said.
I'm not an absolutist, but I would say that it's pretty close to being a lost season at this point. Could Tua come back and put them back into the equation? Because clearly when he's out there, they're a completely different team. Yeah, maybe, but I don't expect that to be the case. Mike McDaniel, though, is being exposed here a bit, Tony. He's 1-6 now without Tua Tagovailoa, and I know that not too long ago we were talking about how much better Tua has been with Mike McDaniel. That also remains true. Those 2 guys need each other, but Mike McDaniel looks a little bit more naked, I believe, at the moment. And the roster, like I've never understood it, even with Tua, certainly now without it. In the NFL, 60 quarterbacks played last season, Tony. Like, you need a good backup quarterback, especially when you have a quarterback with Tua Tagovailoa's injury history. And their offensive line has been atrocious for several years, even with Tua at the helm. And Tua gets the ball out fast enough to kind of mask some of that stuff. But the roster construction, beyond the Mike McDaniel issues and the cutesy stuff he likes to do on offense that doesn't work when you don't have Tua, man, the roster construction has been flawed for a while, too.
So look at this. You got guys who don't even cover the Dolphins that are going on around the horn, and they see how flawed the roster construction is. They see McDaniel getting exposed for what he is right now. And the guy, George there, everything he said was facts. Not one lie was just spoken. McDaniel's getting exposed. The roster construction is getting exposed. And, as the injuries stack up, this season may be a wash. And I know people are like, well, tank for Arch Manning. You can't tank for Arch Manning. Arch Manning's 2 years away from eligibility. You know what can happen in 2 years? God forbid the guy gets hurt. God forbid the guy regresses. Now, I don't think he'll regress. But 2 years is way too long to wait to draft someone like that. We need the resources that have been spent from the draft to financially. We need options right now today. And I know George Sedano was a longtime Miami sports reporter, but he's not there right now. He's not doing it right now. Right? Like that's the issue here. I know Marcel Louis-Jacques always goes up on that show, right? He always goes. It's not like Marcel's up there who covers us. So right now he's with ESPN, right? I'm pretty sure. So, he's just got an ESPN show now. So, I know he used to be at WQAM, 790 The Ticket. He used to cover the Heat too, right? So, but my God, it's not like we had Marcel going up there. It's absolutely ugly. Absolutely ugly. Sorry, Fox. Listen, I like Shedeur Sanders. I think the talent level is there. I think he's intriguing as hell. But up here, that guy's got to get right, man. He's got to get right. And it's crazy. Milrose rising into the first round now. I love my Garrett Nussmeier and Jackson Dart. There's going to be options in the draft, that's for sure. There are going to be options in the draft. Hal says just signed to his brother at this point. Oh, my God. This is it. This is brutal. This is just one thing after another right now. One thing after another right now. You got Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe, my boys Garrett Nussmeier and Jackson Dart coming out. Drew Aller, Miller Moss, Carson Beck, who I'm lower on, Quinn Ewers, but good luck selling an injured quarterback what's funny is if McDaniel sticks around, I think Quinn Ewers would actually be the type of guy he's looking for, but even he's injured right now, and you're going to sell that to the fan base after what we've been going through? Absolutely brutal. Like, it's just one thing after another with this team. It really is at this point. It's like, this is turning into like a running joke. This is running into, it's turning into a running joke. Anyways, 385 of you in the room, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Let's break down some film, because I do have some film I want to talk about. And in this, we will see the play where Jaelan Phillips gets hurt. So let's do a little bit of a film breakdown for all of you guys, and let's see if it's time to panic for the Miami Dolphins and their fans. All right, so let's get into this. Now, I got about 20 plays here, all right? As for where Phillips gets hurt here, you know, this is going to be a couple plays into the game. So we'll get into it. You know, we're gonna see T'Vondre Sweat give us the work for real. So, all right, let's get into this. Now, if you're looking for the Phillips hit, all right, that is going to be the 10th play in. So we'll be there in 10 plays. So I got 20 plays. Halfway through is where the Phillips hit starts and where he's taken out. So, all right, we'll show you that. All right. So this is the Titans opening drive of the game, 2nd and 9 at the Miami 43. Levis is in the pistol with Pollard, 1-by-1 receiver set, 12 personnel for Tennessee. Dolphins, they show cover 3 and potential pressure off each side with Ogba and Ramsey. If you watch here, Ogba at the top of the screen there, off the edge, he's going to take a false step forward, drop back into coverage, and he's going to choose, look at this, watch, see, Ogba's got his hip open to the sideline. He could go out into the flats right there, but he realizes I've got help here with Poyer. So what does he do? He's reading the eyes. He's seeing, he's seeing Levis cock back and ready to throw, reading the eyes. He flips his hips back, undercuts it, and makes a great play. This is a great focus, great play by Ogba to make the INT, hold on to it, swing momentum early in the favor of the Miami Dolphins with great field position to start. Just understanding you got help with Poyer. And then when you go back, it sucks that we lost Phillips. Watch Phillips rush here. All right, watch Phillips here. Look at that swim move, get inside. Great move by Phillips too. But, that don't matter anymore, right? So right here, Dolphins now have the ball. 1st and 10 to start their drive. And this is probably Huntley's best throw of the first half because of how decisive he is in the placement. Huntley is here in the pistol with Achane. You got doubles to the left, Tyreek and Waddle. You got 12 personnel, strong right. You're going to have Tyreek's going to motion here. It's cover 2 for the Titans. They saw a lot of 2 high shells for the Titans all night. The snap is going to be high. Huntley's going to fake to Achane. And now watch Waddle here, okay? Waddle, he's going to run a dig over across the middle of the field, and he's going to get space because Tyreek Hill, who's motioning behind him, is going to run a post corner, and Huntley is going to deliver a strike to Waddle for 14 yards. Look at that, the space created. Dolphins are off to the races and a hot start, or at least so we thought. And when you look at here, great pass protection from the offensive line. The offensive line does a great job, great pass protection. Boom, right over the middle of the field. Good stuff there. So now, come to the line, 2nd and 9 after a Tyreek Hill end around for 16 yards and an Achane run for 1 yard, followed by a Waddle catch to open this drive. Julian Hill motions to the left, as you just saw. 1-by-2 receiver set, 12 personnel with Huntley and Tyreek in the pistol formation. Titans are in cover 2 right here. It's going to be a screen to Tyreek Hill, who's going to drop the pass, but look at the effort to recover it. Look at the effort. Just a poor effort. Look at no effort. And it's ruled a fumble due to the fact it was a backwards pass. Dolphins kill their own momentum and turn it over in the blink of an eye on a poor effort from one of your leaders. You got Tyreek in the pistol formation for that play, and that's what the result. Awful. So this is the very next play. Now, the Titans have the ball, 1st and 10. Dolphins are in cover 2. Will Levis is under center. Single back set with one wide receiver to the left. It's a heavy 12 personnel set with a 6 lineman. Their backup center is lined up beside their right tackle, Petit Frere. Watch Jalen Ramsey at the bottom of the screen off the left side. Absolutely fantastic effort here to shut down the Pollard run and play big in run support. You know, Jalen Ramsey, he's been great these last few weeks. If only more players on offense could step up like he has, Titans would be forced to punt on that drive. But look at that effort by Jalen Ramsey. Come on, baby. Good stuff. So now the Dolphins, this is their first play of their second drive of the night, 1st and 10. Huntley's in the gun, Achane to his left, 2x2 receiver set, 12 personnel. Malik Washington is going to motion to the left, cover 2 for Tennessee. Look at it's a stretch to Achane there, but look at where we got here. Look at the interior. Look at, you've got Eichenberg on skates. You've got Jones. You know, what is he giving, a back massage to T'Vondre Sweat? It's just not good here. And it gets shut down quite easily. And so we'll see it here from the goalpost view much clearer. So watch 93 there, lined up as a zero tech over Brewer is T'Vondre Sweat. All right, now what you're going to see is Brewer's going to barely chip Sweat because he's so focused at getting to that next level and clearing out Snead. And watch Robert Jones's down block. It's ineffective. Like, this guy leads with his head and ends with his hands on Sweat's back. Watch this. Look at this. Watch. And look at Eichenberg. Watch Eichenberg put on. Look at Eichenberg's on skates. Like, what are you doing, Robert? Look at this. What do you expect to do with that kind of block? You know, the interior is why this run doesn't gain much. So those I've seen people trying to strictly blame Achane for his dip in yards per carry or after the contact. You need to take into account the blocking isn't as good as it was last year with Hunt and Williams. You know why? Because, you know, you had Hunt, Connor, and Wynn. Now it's Brewer and the two jabronis. So context matters. What do you expect with this kind of blocking? Not good. Not good at all. So this is the very next play. It's 2nd and 7 after that 3-yard gain. Huntley's in the gun. Achane to his left. 3x1 receiver set. 21 personnel. Ingold will motion to the inside on the left side. Cover 2 for Tennessee here. And this is just a 1-yard completion on a drag to Tyreek, but that ain't the issue. Watch the guy at the top of the screen with the orange shoes. That's Waddle. Watch what happens to Waddle, and this was not called. Waddle's going to get blatantly shoved on his route. Like, and he loses his balance and goes down. Now, let me bring it back. People are going to say, well, reason, you know, it was just a jam and he lost his balance. No, watch. Look at, those are his arms extended. Those are the arms extended. He is shoving Jalen Waddle to the ground. And no call. Now, when we go from the God view, look at this. Watch 93 again. Look at how easily. Watch, he's going to take on Robert Jones here. The left guard to your right of the screen. Watch the counter club. Watch the counter club from T'Vondre Sweat. Just dominates Robert Jones. My Lord, watch this. Boom, boom. Look at that. And he's right through. Man amongst a boy. Huntley would then get sacked to end the drive on a blown block assignment by Wright. So not going good. So now the Dolphins are down 3-0 and get the ball back with just over 14 minutes left in the second quarter. 1st and 10. You got Huntley in the gun. Achane to his left. Tripped right. 21 personnel from Miami. Titans are just waiting for a reason to come out of cover 2 right now. That's a cover 2 shell we've seen all night. You're going to have Ingold motion inside. Huntley's going to fake the handoff. And his throw to Achane in the flat. Look at this. It's rushed. Look at Julian Hill. Julian Hill gets absolutely blown up by Arden Key's bull rush. Watch Julian Hill off the left edge just get blown up. Look at that. The bull rush just puts him on his ass. He did his best Liam Eichenberg impression. Thank God Arden Key is that hit right there. He's nailed for roughing the passer. But the story is Julian Hill. He's taken bad penalties this season, offered nothing as a receiver, and had some snaps as a blocker that have been really rough. And that's supposed to be a strength. Look at that. They need to reevaluate investing snaps in Julian Hill right now. So now it's the next play after roughing the passer. Hundley under center. Ingold will motion in to make it an I formation with Achane. 1-by-1 receiver set. 21 personnel for Miami. Titans again in cover 2. Watch Eichenberg here, the right guard. It's going to be a toss to Achane. Watch this. Look at. This guy stumbles. Eichenberg stumbles over Aaron Brewer. And he tries to invent the sit-down block. Now, watch Ingold come behind him. Miss on the cut block. Just barely whiffed on it. And then that's what shuts down Achane. Every week without fail, Eichenberg ends up on the turf. And, you know, when you watch it from the other angle, you say, okay, maybe he trips over Brewer's feet. You watch it from this angle. Where's the trip? You can see right there, Brewer's feet are out ahead of him, and Brewer keeps his balance, but Eichenberg goes down. Look at this. And then watch Ingold whiff. That's just not a good enough job. So now it's on the same drive, and we're going to go back to the offensive line again. We're back to the offensive line again here. This is the same drive right now, okay? 4th and 1. Hundley is under center. Achane is a single back. You got a 1-by-1 receiver set. 21 personnel, heavy right. Titans surprise. They're in cover 2. This is going to be an end around to Tyreek Hill. He's going to get the hand, come back, motion through, get the hand off, and try to hit that left side. Watch Patrick Paul. Your Waddle is going to do his job at the top of the screen. He's going to clear out his man, but watch Patrick Paul. He's going to take a poor angle out of his stance. He's slow to the second level, and look, he doesn't even get a hand on Kenneth Murray. Misses his assignment completely. And Kenneth Murray is going to slow down Tyreek, and watch at the top of the screen, L'Jarius Sneed is going to crash down in run support, and they stuff the run for no gain. But watch Paul here. Total bad angle, whiffs. Tyreek slowed down, cleaned up. That is a brutal rep from Paul. That cost Miami a first down, and they turned it over instead. Because if you watch this play, if he's got Kenneth Murray right here, ladies and gentlemen, look at the yards that are in front of you. Never mind getting 1. Tyreek Hill's getting 4 or 5. But he's got to run out even wider because Patrick Paul misses his assignment, and it's shut down. Brutal rep. So here is the Jaelan Phillips injury, everyone. For all of you interested and want to see the Jaelan Phillips injury, here is where it went down. All right, so now it's after the Titans get the ball back from the failed 4th down attempt by Miami. It's 1st and 10 at the Miami 29 after 3 straight rushes from Tennessee. Mason Rudolph is under center. Pollard is a single back. There's 1 wide receiver to the right who will motion to the left. And it's a heavy 13 personnel set. You heard me correctly. It's 13 personnel. 3 tight ends are out there for them right now. Okay? 2 to the left, 1 in line to the right. It's going to just be a dive up the B gap. Watch Jordan Poyer. Okay? He's at about the 19-yard line. He's the guy with the arm sleeves right here. The white cleats and the white arm sleeves. The 21 guy out there. Okay? He's at the 19 right now. Watch him. He's going to totally whiff on shutting this down. He's going to take an angle far too inside, and then he's not going to get enough to wrap Pollard, who's going to take it down to the 2. But watch him collide with Jaelan Phillips. Watch. Okay? Here he comes. Boom. There's your injury right there. There is your injury right there in front of you. Jordan Poyer goes low, misses the tackle, and instead injures our own player. Watch. Look at Phillips. Keep your eye on Phillips. He's holding his knee. He's at the 20-yard line. He's down on the ground. He's holding his knee. That is where your injury happens right there, ladies and gentlemen. Poyer crashes down and run support, whiffs, and takes out Jaelan Phillips. Now, thank God Lloyd Cushenberry would be called for a hold on this play. This is a brutal rep from Poyer, all right? Marcus May needs to get more reps over him. This hasn't been a great signing at all. Now, obviously the hold would call back and negate this run, but this was about highlighting how poor Jordan Poyer is right now and how Phillips got hurt. Here's another angle of it. Right? Wipes Phillips out, and you see Phillips there holding the knee, holding his right knee. So not only has the Jordan Poyer signing been awful, it's also cost us Jaelan Phillips. So, you got poor play from Jordan Poyer now causing this team injuries to key players. That is the definition of a bad player holding you back right now. So now it's 6-0 after another Titans field goal. Dolphins have the ball. They're driving. 1st and 10, Huntley in the pistol with Wright. 1-by-2 receiver set. It is 11 personnel for Miami. You got cover 2 for the Titans. And what you're going to see here is Huntley, he's going to fake the handoff, and he's going to massively underthrow. Watch Tyreek at the bottom on his corner route. He is gone. He is there. Tyreek comes back to make a play on it so it's not intercepted. But, here's the thing. I roll this back here, okay? Really watch. Look at 37. Amani Hooker, while Tyreek is stemming his route, Hooker's got his hips flipped inside and is back to the play, basically. This is a throw you have to make, and it's one Tua drops in the basket 99.9% of the time. You cannot leave plays like this on the field when the offense is playing at this level. The Titans gave you a big opportunity, and you blew it. Again, good effort from Tyreek to make sure it's not picked. Dolphins would settle, and good pass pro for the most part there. Good. Dolphins would score a field goal on this drive to make it 6-3. Dolphins now still down 6-3, and they get the ball back after a Titans punt with just over 2 minutes left in the first half. Huntley's in the pistol with Jonnu Smith. 1-by-2 receiver set. It's 2 personnel with no running backs out there for Miami. Cover 2 for Tennessee. Watch Tyreek at the top of the screen. He is going to cook Snead off the line of scrimmage on the 9 route with a quick stutter and then outside release. Again, Huntley's throw is short. This time he's throwing back shoulder. Brother, you got to lead him under that. You got to place that over the top for Tyreek to run under. What are you back shouldering this for? Tyreek's got his man beat. Another potential 6 missed that Tua hits 99.9% of the time. This is a product of Huntley only being in this offense and with this personnel for 2 weeks with no chemistry developed. Tyreek got open all night, but Huntley either didn't make the read or the throw when he did see it. The Dolphins would end up punting on this drive. No points. Miami now gets the ball to start the second half. Now they're down 9-3. 2nd and 9 after a 1-yard Achane run starts the drive. Huntley in the pistol with Wright. 3-by-1 set. 11 personnel for Miami. Cover 2 for the Titans. Smythe motions from the left boundary. Watch Waddle here in the at the 30-yard line. He runs a great route on the in route to get a release. Look at this. Great. Look at that separation he created at the top of his stem before he broke out. Fantastic stuff. The problem is Huntley delivers the ball, but Waddle drops it. Too focused on the play after the catch than making the actual catch. This also would have been a first down. Instead, Miami punts 2 plays later. Playmakers, they need to make plays, especially when given opportunities have been so hard to come by for them the last few games. And what's also crazy too here is bring it back. Watch Liam Eichenberg. Watch Eichenberg. He's gonna double and then he's gonna struggle. So Liam Eichenberg, he's gonna struggle getting off Sweat with Brewer. Watch Eichenberg here. And then he's going to be really slow to recognizing and reacting to the linebacker shooting the gap. But because Huntley gets the ball out, it masks it, but it's such a slow reaction. Watch Liam Eichenberg here. Look how slow he is to react. Look at that. Just like totally just misses, just whiffs. Again, look. Come on, Liam. Following drive for the Titans here. 3rd and 5. Rudolph in the gun with a back to his left. Trips bunch to the left and single receiver to the right. Dolphins will flip from cover 3 to cover 1. Dylan Radins is going to engage Jordan Brooks, you see lined up at the middle of, at the line of scrimmage right there, number 20. But then he's going to disengage him to take on Holland, and this is going to give Brooks a free lane through the B gap right there. And he gets in clean for the huge sack. Jordan Brooks was one of the better Dolphins players on Monday night. Titans would actually end up punting on this drive. But shout out to Jordan Brooks. Great stuff. So, Dolphins, they make it 9-6 after another field goal. Ensuing Titans drive, 3rd and 4. Rudolph in the gun with Spears to his right. 3-by-1 receiver set for the Titans, 11 personnel. Dolphins, they're going to show cover 2 initially, but shift to cover 1 robber post-snap. Watch Kohu at the top. He's going to play Hopkins tight off the line of scrimmage on his wheel. The problem is Kohu plays the body and never turns his head. Kohu's going to get flagged for pass interference to extend the drive. Look, it doesn't turn his head. Come on, man. This is, you allowed them to extend the drive for something basic every DB should be doing when the coverage is tight. This is a brutal play. Like, look at this. Turn your head, kid. Come on, man. Instead of getting off the field, the defense would allow a touchdown 3 plays later. 16-6 Titans now. Next, Dolphins drive after the Titans TD, 1st and 10. Huntley in the pistol with right. 2 receivers stacked to the left, 1 split to the right, 12 personnel. It's cover 6, 4-2 for the Titans here. Julian Hill's going to motion to the right in line. And then Smythe's going to motion on the stack, like you're seeing right now, across the backside. It's going to be a fake toss from Huntley to right, and it's a bad rep from Patrick Paul. Look at this. Oh. Poor rep from Patrick Paul. Now, if you watch here, 52, what's the problem going to be? His hands are going to go way too wide and not into the chest plate. He's going to lunge a little bit forward, and that's going to throw off his balance. And Sebastian Joseph Day just easily uses an inside swim move, and he's through for the sack. It was definitely an up and down night for Paul as I dove deeper into the tape after the initial broadcast watch. I mean, not a good rep in pass pro by Paul at all. 3rd and 17. It's two plays after that sack we just saw. Huntley in the gun, Achane to his right, 3-by-1 receiver set, 11 personnel for Miami. Titans are in cover 4, but they'll drop to cover 3 as Hooker creeps up as a robber. Tyreek, if you look at Tyreek at the top of your screen there, he's going to get an inside release cleanly off of his go route after being given a cushion off the line of scrimmage. Watch the defender. See the defender, how lackadaisical they are in their back pedal? Well, that costs him because look at, now he's gone. And guess what? Huntley overthrows it by a quarter mile. Another house call for 6 to Tyreek. That Tua hits 99.9% of the time. These are 3 big plays Tyler Huntley left on the field and missed with the Miami Dolphins. You can't afford that, man. Dolphins would have to punt again. So it's 16-6 still. It's 2nd and 8. Rudolph in the pistol with Spears. 12 personnel for Tennessee with their backup center now lined up as a fullback. It's cover 2 for Miami. Even though the offense is giving you nothing, look at Ramsey here at the top on the line of scrimmage at the top here. Look at again, plays big time in run support as he stops Spears for a 3-yard loss. Look at that. Titans would get another field goal on this drive to make it 19-6. But look at the effort you're getting from Jalen Ramsey, man. Come on, man. Look at this. That is big stuff right there. Jalen Ramsey, man. I wish everyone on offense could play like you. Next drive for Miami. This is 4th and 1. Huntley in the split back shotgun look, one wide receiver to each side. 22 personnel for Miami. Titans in a 2-high shell. This is going to be a handoff to Achane, and he totally whiffs on the hold to hit that even Huntley. Watch. Huntley is pointing to him for what hold to hit. Look at Huntley is pointing to Achane. No, hit this hole. Stop stretching it out wide. He tries to get the edge here, but 29, Jarvis Brownlee was coming off that side as a blitzer, and he shuts it down. Turnover on downs. Achane totally whiffs on the hold to hit. Well, Huntley will point it out. Look. Follow Jones. Nope, you went way too wide. And if you follow Jones, look at the space in front of Achane. Look at the space. Not like Jones got a hand on the defender anyways, let's be honest. But if Achane hits that hole, it may change the defender's angle, right? And then that would force, that could get him into Jones's line of sight. But because Achane takes it out wide, everyone crashes to it. Turnover on downs. So now after Tennessee, they make it 22-6. Miami gets the ball back. Huntley and Wright in the pistol. 1-by-2 receiver set. 21 personnel for Miami. Cover 2 for the Titans. Huntley's going to fake the handoff. Drop back. He's going to fire to Tyreek. Look at this on the dig route. Boom. Right there. 17-yard pickup. This is probably one of Huntley's most decisive and better throws on the day. That's what I would say. This is one of his stronger throws and decisions. Good stuff. And if you look at the throw, it's away from the underhanging defender, so he doesn't put the ball in trouble's way, which you got to like. I'll show you right here what I mean. Watch 53. He's watching the ice. He drops back, but he throws it away instead of leading Tyreek Hill into it, a little bit to his back shoulder. Good throw, good placement, smart play. So next play now, 1st and 10. Huntley in the strong offset left pistol, 2-by-1 wide receiver set, 21 personnel from Miami. Cover 2 for Tennessee, but they'll shift to cover 4. This is just a great job by the offensive line. Everyone does their job well, and even Liam puts a guy onto the ground. Look at that. 20-yard run. Really good stuff here on the inside run, including a solid pinball-like effort by Wright at the end of it. But hey, if Eichenberg does good, I'll show it. And look at this. He slipped, but he still ended up managing to get the guy on the ground. Great run by Wright. Just straight ahead. So much effort. I love Jalen Wright. He needs more touches. Come on. Next play, 1st and 10. Huntley in the gun and right beside him. 1-by-2 receiver set, 11 personnel for Miami. Cover 6, 2-4 for the Titans. Huntley is going to fake the pitch to Wright. And watch Waddle. Waddle's going to come off that line of scrimmage on a shoot route. And the honey hole shot is going to be there between the defenders, but Huntley overthrows it by a mile. Look, watch. It's there. And he overthrows it by a quarter mile. Another throw Tua makes 99.9% of the time that requires touch and accuracy, both of which aren't strong suits of Huntley on this night. So, look, now there's pressure up the middle, but you got to make that throw. Miami would score on this drive to make it 22-12, but it's too little too late. They'd give up a safety and another touchdown and lose 31-12. So there you go. When we look at the film, when we break it all down, it just wasn't pretty. Tyler Huntley, this offense looked too complicated and too many intricacies for him. Jordan Poyer taking out Jaelan Phillips. Multiple, 3 big opportunities to Tyreek alone that could have been house calls for 6. I mean, just between those three throws, you left easily 21 points on the board. So Not good. Not good. So, man, you know. But now Jaelan Phillips is out. That's where we're at. That's just the deal. It's not fun to be a Dolphin fan right now. That is for damn sure. Not fun at all. Like I said, this episode is powered by BetUS. Go over to betus.com right now. Use code YouTube150. That's YouTube150. Get your first 3 deposits up to $2,000, matched by 150%. Go make some money on this Week 5 NFL schedule. And go use BetUS as your sports book for this weekend. Just remember, please gamble responsibly. I'll be back tomorrow with Neil Driscoll for Fin Too Deep. I mean, Neil's doom and gloom life right now. You know, he saw Phillips went down. And he was literally texting me that we got to revoke the 5th-year option on Phillips. So one thing after another with Neil. So we'll talk to him tomorrow, and we'll go from there. And then on Friday, the game preview, and Sunday we're back at it for the Patriots game. So, man, smash that like button and subscribe if you're new. Appreciate you all taking some time out to come through, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, fins up all day, every day, everyone.